everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Talkie Tuesday again. My name is Dori Patrick. I'm a mixed media artist. I live and work here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Welcome to my home studio. This is where the magic happens. I try to visit the YouTube channel once a week if I can. And there are so many things to talk about all the time. But I happen to be getting ready for my next show. As I mentioned in last week's video, I think, or the one before, I'm getting ready for the Octagon Art Festival, which is in Ames, Iowa. If I am available and they will have me, I try to do that show every year. I've missed it a couple times because of different um, scheduling conflicts, but I am very excited to be back. It's going to be Sunday, September 28th from 10 to 4. Um, and I am just trying to get some work finished up for that show. So like I said, there are so many topics that I want to talk about here on the channel. But since I have the deadline of that show, I thought I would bring you along to my work table and show you part of my work day. I am working on a few different projects, and I'll kind of talk you through them as we get into it. But um, before I do that, look at this. If you're following me on the socials, you probably saw this already. I shared it in some of my reels. But look at her. Well, that's not focusing very well, is it? This is the Lego Dia de los Muertos altar. My kids surprised me with this a few weeks ago. And I finally got her put together this past weekend, and she is so flippin'. It was so fun to do, and she's so cute. I am crazy about Dia de los Muertos decorations, the whole idea, the whole concept. I actually visited Oaxaca, Mexico a few years back during Dia de los Muertos, and it was it was a pivotal um, time in my life, and we could go into that a whole other day. But um, yeah, so I love decorating when I can find the time, and I love observing this holiday, even though it isn't part of my lineage, but I was so moved by experiencing it in person in Oaxaca. Anyway, my kids know that I love a sugar skull and I love a de los Muertos altar. So the front of her is the little sugar skull, and the back is a little tiny altar. And I don't know if that's focusing very well, but so cute. There's like a little a little turkey leg, and there's little candles and little flowers and a little wine glass. It's just too precious. I love it so much. Um, this is what's bringing me joy this week. I've got her in my studio smiling at me while I work, but if I can find her online, I'll try to share a link. I'm pretty sure they got this through the Lego website. And if there's a link to it, I'll share it with you so you can find one if you're interested. It just brought back good memories of not even just the trip and my love of this holiday, but my I have a daughter and a son, and my son was really into Legos when he was little. And so putting together a little Lego set just brings back good memories of when my kids were little, and it was just so fun. Okay, so that's my little joy bomb for today. But so this week's video, like I said, it's going to be just kind of showing you what's happening on my work table today. It's not everything that happened, it's just a snapshot. Some of it is kind of sped up because, some of the work is a little repetitive, but I'll kind of show you what I'm up to. Some of it is actual prep for the show that's coming up um, on the 28th. And I'll kind of talk you through what I'm working on, but also I'm going to answer a few questions. We'll see how much time we have um, about art shows. I get lots and lots and lots and lots of questions about art shows. I, I, and art festivals. So these are shows where you sell your art to collectors. A big season for that here in the States is in the summertime. So a lot of outdoor art festivals and art shows, the good, the bad, the ugly. And just kind of what it takes to do that. I get so many questions about you name it. And I will just try to answer a handful of them. So, yeah, so this will be about art shows, kind of how I approach them, what I do with them. So, let's get to the work table and we'll get chatting. All right, here we go, guys. Oh, yes, and this session is fueled by Witch's Brew. Not sponsored or anything. I just love that stuff. It's so good. So just to let you know what's going on here on the tabletop, I'm finishing up a few banana paintings for that show that I'm going to take with me. I decided these bananas needed some star wallpaper behind them. So I am cutting out stars and collaging them onto the background of these paintings. I am in a phase where a piece doesn't feel complete without some collage on it. It's a weird quirk of mine. Yes, I could paint them. Yes, I could even punch them out with a star punch, but I love the wonkiness of cutting them out by hand. So that's what we'll do. Okay, so one of the first questions that I get, one of the many questions that I get is, how do you know which shows to apply for? Meaning art shows or art festivals. That's a really hard one to answer. It comes with a lot of experience and a lot of trial and error. Unfortunately, that's just the truth of the matter. It's really there's never a guarantee that a show is going to be successful. There are so many factors that have to all come into alignment to have a great show. It really is a gamble. But nowadays, with the internet and with social media and so much information at our fingertips, it's a lot easier to find out what shows are like. You can do a little online sleuthing and see what other artists are saying about the shows. You can find out who attends those shows and what kind of quality work they have. So you can do a little bit of sleuthing around, but I think it's really important when deciding where to go is to really know who your customer is and think about whether or not you're going to reach that kind of customer in a place that you have in mind to travel to. And another question that I get a lot is, how do you get into the shows? How do you apply for the shows? Some folks don't even know that there's an application process to get into a show. So most quality shows, have a membership on the website's application. There's also another one called Cafe, where you can create an account as an artist, and many applications go through those websites. And you submit photos of your work and you pick a category that you submit your photos for. Some shows, the shows all have their own rules. It's a little different from show to show. So it's really important to read all of the fine print for the application so that you fill it out the way they want it filled out. But basically, you choose a category and you submit photos. You also usually have to submit a photo of your booth so that they can see that you are going to have a tasteful display, and that your booth will look very professional. So I try to take a new booth shot every year so that I am up to date and kind of showing what my display looks each year that I apply. You have to have good quality, well-lit photos of your work. You can just immediately be dismissed if you're applying for a show and you have crappy photos. So take the time to take really good photos, edit them properly, and make sure that they meet the requirements of the website and or the show that you're applying for. After your application is submitted with your bio, your photos, all that stuff, there's usually a small application fee that you have to pay to be considered. That's just standard across the industry. And then you wait because generally there are juries assigned to pick out who will be in the show. They generally just go off of the photos of the work. They don't know who they're jurying in or out, or they just are responding to the number of people they need per category and the work that speaks to them. So that can be kind of maddening sometimes because I have been in plenty of shows where I have done fabulous. And then the next year I apply and I don't even get in because it's a jury that just doesn't get my work, or, it just didn't resonate and somebody else got my spot. That's maddening, but that's kind of how it goes. So you totally apply for shows not knowing how it's going to go and hoping for the best. As I've been doing this for several years, I have gotten to know people who put on shows, so I have been able to ask questions about what is expected or what would catch their eye, that kind of thing. Oh, and here, let's pop in. I'll tell you what I'm doing next with the bananas. I put a layer of clear gesso over just the banana. Clear gesso is one of my most important art supplies in the studio. When you have a painted surface, especially those quality acrylics, they can be kind of slickery, kind of slick. And I want to do some doodles and not doodles, but I want to draw on top of the bananas with some pencil and some pastel, and the gesso makes that possible. Next up, it's time for lunch. And my hubby made me this delicious 3-bean soup. I will be enjoying that, and I have been trying to get a little more reading into my daily life, and I find it's hard at bedtime because I'm tired. So I try to sit down with a couple books and read while I'm having my lunch or while I have a little break. This little break ended up going cuckoo sideways because my glasses that I'm wearing, the little thing on the nose, it's like a little padding thing, came off and was driving me crazy. You can see me kind of mess with them. Anyway, I didn't end up reading. It was very frustrating. Next up, I'm going to be putting some sawtooth hangers on the backs of these small paintings that I'm going to take. Everybody loves an inspiring or sassy quote, so I always try to bring a few of those with me to my shows. Another question I get about shows is, can you bring just anything to the show, anything that you make? And the answer is no, don't do that. If you have applied in a category, for instance, I usually apply for the mixed media 2D category because I do paintings, but they have so much more than just paint. There's a lot of collage and other materials. So, um, if I get accepted into a show for mixed media 2D, I do not then show up with fiber art that I have made or ceramics that I have made. That's a big no-no because the show promoters are trying to put on a good display of variety of um, artisans. So you need to bring the category that you applied and got accepted for. Now, that being said, there are some shows that are a little more casual. Um, Perhaps some makers markets or some holiday bazaars and things where you can have a little more freedom in bringing a variety of different kinds of mediums. But the quality shows, you need to show up with what you juried in. And I do both kinds of shows. Some I do high quality fine art shows with my paintings, and I also do a few small holiday shows where I can have fun with some of my crafting. Smaller items. I just turn my medium to smaller things that can be gifted. Like for the holidays, I'll do a round of ornaments and gift like items. Um, so I'm signing the back of all these. I have really taken to signing everything on the back. I just really like how that works, especially with paintings that have words on them already. I don't feel like I need to scribble my name on the front again as well. And here you see me putting my website sticker on the back of each one. One thing I cannot express enough is on every single thing that you make or you sell, make sure people know how to find you when you're not together. So, I put my website on everything. All my paintings, all my cards, all my stickers, all my prints, everything has my website on it so that people can easily find me and contact me, and they usually order more stuff from me, so I love that. These are slightly larger, quote paintings on stretch canvas. When I'm doing fine art and slightly larger pieces, I do the typical picture hanger wire, but for these smaller items, the sawtooth hanger works just fine. So, and customers don't seem to mind. So another question I get is, how do I know how much to bring and what to bring when I do a show? And that again is a question that comes, or an answer that comes with experience, but I can say I have a lot of success with bringing a variety of price points, a variety of items, and a variety of price points. I never ever show up at a show with, say, just a handful of really large paintings. Large items are high ticket items, they take a longer time to sell. So I always bring a variety of sizes and price points. You just never know, and there are plenty of customers that, for various reasons, want to buy smaller pieces. So I always have a variety, and that has served me really well over the years. And as far as how much to bring, that's really hard. I never feel like I have enough. I just never feel like I have enough. So I just keep making until the very last second before a show. And I bring what I have. So next up, I got all those hangers on those paintings, and I am prepping for a little workshop with kids over at the Eastern Iowa Arts Academy, and I'm getting together a little project. And these are the prototypes. These are little cardboard critters with yarn. As sweaters, and then I embellished them a little. I think the kids are going to have a lot of fun doing this, and we are recycling cardboard. Can't do better than that. I have so much fun teaching these kids, you guys. I'm photographing them here so I can have something to present. But yeah, I have so much fun with those kiddos at the Eastern Iowa Arts Academy. This is a wonderful, wonderful resource for our community, and I'm just so tickled to be part of it. And I have a blast teaching the kids and doing fun little projects like this with them. I have one more project I've got to come up with, and I've got to do that prototype, but I don't have it done to show you today, but it's going to be a fun one too. So next up, like I said, I also do a few little holiday bazaars at the end of the year. I've got a couple coming up in November and December. And so in addition to my paintings, I will sometimes do little gifty items. And these are little photo holders. They have been sitting on my table forever. They're wood. I can't remember where I bought them. I think if you Google, you'll find them. Like maybe on Amazon or something. I coated the little wooden cube with modeling paste and then sanded it a little bit to give it some texture. What you're going to see me do here is I'm just painting them solid. I will later go back over with more colors and kind of get this layered look. But for right now, we're just doing the first layers. And then I will collage little blocks of paper on the sides and make them a colorful little gift. I love doing this stuff too. I love making giant abstract paintings, and I love doing little crafts. I just feel so lucky to do all of this stuff. It's so much fun. Okay, I was going to talk some more about doing shows. These aren't really questions, but you have to be ready especially if you're doing outdoor shows. You really have to be ready for any kind of weather. Most shows, if it's an outdoor show, you're allowed like a 10 by 10 space, 10 foot by 10 foot space, to put your 10 by 10 tent in. And most shows require that it is a quality white tent, and there are all kinds on the market. We won't even go into that today because that's like a whole topic on its own. But you need a quality white tent, and you need to have plenty of weights on each corner of your tent so that you can remain standing no matter what the weather will be. Because trust me, you do not want to be the jerk face whose tent blows over because he didn't have enough weight, and you take out other tents because your tent isn't sturdy enough. That is no way to make friends at the art show. Yeah, so you just want to be ready. Be ready for anything. It's good to have a helper with you in case, if weather blows in, you need a helper to help you pack up quickly. I know I'm making this sound kind of scary, but the more prepared you are for any potential weather that might come in, the better.
And in addition to weighing the tent down, it's a good idea to just make sure you know all the rules of the show. Each show has their own, way of doing things. They usually, especially well established shows, have very clear procedures for move in and move out. You definitely want to follow the rules, especially if you're the new kid there. It's so annoying when, people don't, follow protocol and, get in everybody's way. So, definitely read the fine print. That's certainly not my strong suit, but, it has really helped alleviate some headaches for sure. Um, and the last thing I would say probably about doing shows is be ready to be on. You are going to need to greet people and talk to people and smile at people all day long, whether you feel like it or not, whether you're good at it or not. I cannot, I never can understand artists who set up for these shows and they sit in the back in a corner with their head down, staring at their phone. They don't say hello. They don't greet people. Um, that is just, to me, unacceptable. You really need to pretend you are running a storefront. Yeah, and you really are for the weekend. You really need to be engaging with people. You need to greet people at the very least and let people know you're available for questions. And, you don't have to hound people, but you do need to say hello and acknowledge them and be ready to answer questions. And you will find the more you do them, there are some common questions that you will get about your work. And you'll be faster and better at answering the questions as time goes on. So, yeah. So we're finishing up the blocks here. And as you saw, probably as we were going along, I can't ever stand to waste anything, especially paint. So I always have a pile of scrap paper nearby so that when I dole out too much paint and I have leftover, which that does happen a lot, I will take it and scrape it off and put it on my papers because I can always use collage paper. That was a fun little session, guys.
Hi again, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Talkie Tuesday. I hope that was kind of fun for you and a little bit informative. We could probably do another video where we really dive deep into the topic of doing art shows and art festivals. That may come down the pipeline a little bit later, but I sure appreciate you joining me here in the studio at the work table, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.